Well, that took quite a while. Alright. Hi everyone, this is GeoWill from Productions², and we're here this morning to put the finishing touches for the first version of our advanced weapon plugin. Last night we finished off the. Oh, we're going to close this. Last night we finished off the coding for loading of weapons, and we did a little bit of testing with the with saving and loading at various points, like getting weapon, leveling it up, equipping it, saving and loading it, unequipping it, saving and loading that save file to make sure that things are loading correctly, and it appears that they are. So what we're going to be doing this morning is just preparing it for release. So there's a couple things we want to put in for plugin commands, and a few things we want to put in for plugin parameters. And we'll need to modify some of the code to achieve that. And we'll also want to clean this up a bit in terms of just the positioning and the layout of things to make sure that any overridden functions or alias functions are in the right sections with other things of similar nature, and we'll do some commenting on the those different sections, as well as making sure we don't have any other changes anywhere that we need to deal with. Which I know we do have some other changes. At least in this, so actually what we could do is, now that I'm thinking about this, in the load and let's see where, in these two, oh wow, this is the wrong one, isn't it? This is the bank demo one. So in this one, well, that still has to be there, because that you can't really. Well, I guess you could define it. It's just a global. So I guess we could say we could put this over here in a global space. And see what happens. Yeah, that worked. Okay, cool. So we can put that over here. What I'm thinking though is, so we don't have to have any changes to managers. What we could do is we could just, because these ones you can't really alias because it returns the contents. So, like I said, the issue here is that we're creating a var contents inside of the function, and then we're returning it at the end of the function. I suppose we could call it. Well, so here's the problem though. We're returning it to whatever calls make save contents. There's no way to modify contents before it gets returned from here, so you can't alias it. You have to either you either have to modify it here, or you have to override it in the plugin. So I think what we'll actually do is just we'll override it in the plugin, and we'll just remove this from here. This way there's not so many changes needed in other files. I'll put it here with the data manager, since that's where that's at. Okay, tab that over. We'll do the same thing with the load. Now loading our extract save contents, we should be able to actually alias this. Actually. Because we're just loading the contents into this. So, var geowil awp data manager extract save contents. So we'll have to do an apply rather than call. If you do a call, then you have to modify the function on the other end to pass through an argument and deal with that argument in the argument list. If you do an apply, it does the functions as they are. There's a difference between the two. So usually calls are best for when you don't actually have to pass any arguments. It doesn't really make any difference, but if you want to use call instead of apply, that's when you would do it. Otherwise, you'd have to modify the function you're aliasing, which kind of defeats the purpose of aliasing it. So, first we'll go ahead and call data manager underscore extract save contents. And then we'll do our thing here for that. Then we'll tab this over. Whoops. Alright, so let's take a look at this real quick here. So, oh yeah, because we need to do this part. Still, we could do an apply, do this before we send that, and then do this part. So actually, we could alias this too. So let's go ahead and do that. There, geowil wp data manager underscore save game. Okay, so let's see, now we're getting into game actors. So let's go ahead and make a say aliased. I think these are all aliased and over written data manager. Okay, so there's that. Now, same thing with that comment block. Just gonna say aliased or overridden game actor functions. So I'm gonna keep, well, maybe I won't keep them in the same place or together. The game actor and game battler base. Technically, they are part of the same class hierarchy. Game battler base is the superclass for game actor, so maybe actually I'll put them before game actor, just because of that. Some more battler base. All right. Oh, got another data manager down here. God. Still kind of amazes me how many actual functions I had to override or alias. Well, in the process of aliasing more of them, but it's just amazing how much stuff I actually had to change for this. Well, not really amazing. Kind of expected it, but at the same time, it is quite a bit. So this is a data manager function, so it goes here. Now, can any of this be aliased? Nope, it all has to be overridden. So I'm not even going to make a pretense of saying aliased on this one, just overridden game battler base functions. Okay, so what can we alias down here? Can't do this one. And we can't do this one because the changes we need to do are inside of for loops or otherwise couldn't be aliased properly. Equips, same issue. Discard equips, same issue. Release unequipable items, same issue. Param plus, same issue. Calculate equip item performance, same problem. EXP we were able to do. Force change equip, same problem. Yep, same problem. Let's see. Same issue because of this line here. There's no way to alias that properly. So game action, there's some more game actor stuff down here. Let's go. Well, maybe just one. I saw one more, but I guess not. Nope. Alright, just that one. Okay. Let's see. Same problem. So all these have to remain aliased, or overridden. Can't alias any others. Fine with that though. Alright then, game action. Oops. Definitely can't do anything with this one because what we're doing is inside of this is hit, result is hit. Now we'll probably need to modify this later on some more to only apply for, or to apply for different things. So like if the weapon is a magic weapon, we would have it decrease its durability on using magic and also on attacking physically, whereas only physical weapons wouldn't get damaged during using magic. They would get damaged using skills though. So we need to handle all that stuff correctly. Right now, just any weapon will take durability damage anytime, regardless of what the attack type is and what the weapon type is. So, scene load. So that's aliased. Alright. So that's on loading of the game. That's what it calls the data manager load functions. So aliased scene load functions. So window base. We got a bunch of window stuff, so I'll actually go ahead and bring that up too. I'll have game party be last. Actually, technically, let's put the base first, since that's technically the first class in the window hierarchy. And then, let's see. So, overridden window base functions. Might be adding some more of these later on to add more information to either the equip window or the status window to show more information about the weapons, or maybe both even. So we can see the durability increase, max dur increase, and what else? Whatever else we'd want to show on those for the equip, and then also the level, the durability, max durability, the maybe the refine or stuff like that on the other screen. On that other screen, the status screen. It's too fracking early for this, but wanted to get an early start so I could try and release this morning instead of having to sit on it. So, window item list. There's only one of those. Also cannot be alien. Well, actually, we don't. Do we need it? That's the other question. That's the other question I asked. Do we actually need this? Are we actually changing anything? So, let's see. I don't think we're changing anything here. So, data manager and then type ID 1. Let's go find the includes from window item list. Window. Nope. We do not change a thing. So technically we can get rid of that, so that's good. Anything we can get rid of is awesome if we don't need it. To equip item. This yeah, we're doing that, so yeah, we need that. Equip item. Equip items. So we get 3 of those, and Just clear. Oh, clear nulls is one that I wrote myself. All right, so we'll call this new and overridden window equip item functions. So what about this? Anything we can get rid of or anything we can alias? So has item. Nope, can't do that. That's a new one. Num items. Nope, can't do that. Init all items. So game party init all items. Okay, no, that's all there's there. We just changed the weapons from an object to a list. Yeah, we can alias that. We just reassign it from a list to this. So let's go ahead and alias it. Anytime we can alias something, we should do it. So where will p game party underscore init all items equals so GOL EWP game party let me just redefine that afterwards. Okay, gain item. Can we do anything with this? Nope, because our stuff is on the inside of these if conditions. So we can't do anything about that. Weapons. Nope, same issue. Update weapon. That's new. Get weapon is new. Remove party weapon is new. So yeah, those are all new. So that's all we could do in terms of changing what's already here. So, okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and save this, and we're going to just test everything and make sure it's still working, so we didn't screw anything up. Okay, that's good. So far, so good. Let's go over here real quick. Get some experience. Good. All this is showing up correctly. Alright, good. Okay, 9413. That looks correct. Trying to refine. Level 1 refine plus 1, durability 3, attack plus that. Does get that. Okay. So now if we try to refine it again, all that should happen is we just increase the level. Good. And when we refine it again, we should get some bonuses to various things. So yeah, plus 1%, plus 1, plus 3, plus 1. Refinement, so refinement 2, back to level 1. Perfect. And if we do another refine, then we should get the, start seeing counter start to increase. So 243,700 gold for a third refinement. Yeah, counter goes up by 1. Nice, alright. So now, sword has traits and everything, so let's actually go ahead and start leveling this up. So, the max level is 20. Actually get to see how the, costs scale up past level 10. It's good so far. Just saved headphones users from dying. Oh, man. That's a hell of a sneeze. Okay, so, refine it. So, yep, it pretty much looks like what it should. So, let's go ahead and refine it again. Oh, wait, we have to get experience. Cool, the, plus 1 works over here. So I didn't add that code to, so we go back over to items and over here, yes, I didn't add it there. Maybe I won't, though. Well, no, we probably should, shouldn't we? We'll make that a change we'll make here in a bit. So, first time leveling up something past 10 as a refined version, so we'll see what the costs ramp up to. I'm liking the costs so far, though. They seem realistic. So, over 500,000, almost 600,000 for a second refinement. That's fine. For a level 20 weapon. Oh yeah, we need more experience. So where we're going with this is we're going to level this up to rank 3, or refinement 3, and then we're going to try to synthesize it into the katana. And see what happens. We have about 3 mil gold, so that should be more than enough. If he really knows. The refinements seem to cost a lot more on this, from the level being so high. Yeah, almost 1 million. Which isn't really so bad, to be honest, for a third refinement on a 20 level weapon. See, but you can see how the level will affect this cost if you don't modify the formula from the note tag. Alright, refinement 3. Both level 1. So let's go ahead and do synthesize, sword plus 3. So by doing that, we'll get blind plus 9. 9%. So it does. Oh, it does have blind on its own. Okay. So we'll get 9% of blind. We'll get 13 durability. Refinement will go to 5. Level will go to 10. And also recall that we put in some code so that once you refine or once you synthesize a weapon, you can only improve by then synthesizing it again. So this is it's kind of a progression. So the first way you have to increase the power of a weapon is leveling it. The second way is by refining it. And then the third way is by synthesizing it. At each stage, you lose certain things when you do that, though. So leveling it, you get all the bonuses and level up bonuses and things you get normally. Once you reach the maximum level, you can't go any further, so you have to refine it. Once you refine it, you level it up again, but you don't get the bonuses. Instead, every refinement gives you a certain amount of bonus to everything based on that ref bonus note tag attribute. And then once you get so far in refinement that you're done refining it or you're tired of refining it or it gets too expensive to refine it, then you can synthesize it. Of course, that's one thing we need to do. The synthesizing cost, we need to fix that. I almost forgot about that. But once you synthesize it, then you lose your ability to even refine it. So then you can only increase it by synthesizing, which means you have to have something at max level of the same refine level to synthesize something back into it. So at this point, you'd have to have something that's level 10 and refinement level, or let's see. Yeah. Something that's level 10 and a refinement of 8. Refinement's value of 8. So plus 8 weapon. It couldn't be something that doesn't have a max level of 10 that you've synthesized, though, because at that point the max level gets set to the max level, and in the case of the sword, that's 20 instead of 10, so that wouldn't work the way we have this set up right now. So that's another important point, is that you really would only be able to synthesize in the current setup that we have Katana of Darknesses into each other. You wouldn't be able to synthesize a synthesized sword into this. Of course, that will change if you have the max level set to the same across multiple weapons. But for the configuration we have right now, that wouldn't work. So, a couple things we need to fix then first. Let's go ahead and fix the gold cost for synthesizing, and also add the plus thing to the item list and the... Well, if we put it to the item list, it'll show up in both places because both the item window and the equip window use the item list. Well, they all call the same name function, which we've aliased, I believe, from window base. So, synthesized gold cost. All the way to the bottom. Okay, repair, Windows synthesize. Let me get rid of this. So in practice, this didn't work very well. So let's actually go ahead and take a look at this in the context of the Excel file and see what we can figure out. So, go down to this. Okay. So I'm just going to remove all of this stuff because we don't really need it. I feel like gets everything out of there. Alright, so this is going to be our base weapon. And this is going to be our donor weapon. Actually, I want to move them over one. Then we're going to have the level. We're going to have the refinement level. And what are our other things that we're using in this? So the ref bonus. And ref bonus, ref level, and the gold cost. Okay. So let's just say that this is let's say this is 1 and this is 1. This is 3 and this is 3. Ref bonus is 0.2025. 0.025 and 0.025. Doesn't really matter for the donor weapon. We're not using the donor weapons ref, but I'm putting it in there anyway. And the gold cost is going to be equals 175 plus 1.25 times 2 times weapon level plus 65. 1, 2, 3, 4 times the weapon level again plus 1 So I'm going to see real quick, equals 10 to 3. Okay, so that works. So that comes out to 680. What if we just said that the weapon had to be at its max level, but the level doesn't have to equal? So, for example, this has to be at 10, and for the sword, this has to be at 20. Alright. Now we need the... So this is for when there's a refine, and then this one's for when there is no refine. So, really quickly, what's the Excel rounding function? So, Excel rounding. Oh, just scrolled around. Okay. Very good. So, so the number and then the number of digits, which we'll say 0. Alright. So there's our gold cost. Alright, so let's say KOD plus sword. So round equals round, I guess. Alright then, so start off with this will be gold cost plus gold cost again times base weapon ref bonus times base weapon ref level times base level weapon, base weapon level and donor weapon level, plus both ref levels. So this plus this plus this plus this times the ref bonus on the base weapon. Alright, so this into this and that times this times, oh. That. So it should be about 4,000. So I mean, it's not too, it's only a little bit more than the gold cost to refine the base weapon itself. At that point. Well, no, not really, but at least the base gold cost anyway for doing that. So it's not really so bad. Now let's say that we're doing a level 5 refine. Or no, it would be 8, wouldn't it? See, it doesn't really go up too high. Obviously the... Is this updated? That must be updating, yeah. Well, no, not really, because it's not... this doesn't have the ref level to deal with. So, should we also include the ref level on the gold cost? Like if we go to refine real quick. Because the way both of these, this and the level up window work is you take the base gold cost and then you modify it with various things to increase it. Which we're not doing down here. So I'm just wondering if we should, though. So let's just take the gold cost from refinement and see what that happens with that. Let's just move these down a line or two. So equals round. So 2, 3. So the gold cost, which is this, divided by 2, plus gold cost times ref bonus and level times level. times ref level divided by, ref level divided by 1.5. 1, 2, 3. All of that divided by the ref bonus. Okay, so now what if we were to use that instead of that would make it a lot higher. B71, 72, anywhere we have B71. Just those two. No, I quite like that. That seems a lot more legitimate on the cost level. So yeah, let's go ahead and just well, what about when there is no, well, let's see. But at the same time, I mean, you would probably synthesize a weapon when doing the ref level when you have a refines on it. But just in case, let's also process it if there was no refines based on this refined gold cost here. Says that there is no refines. So equals round. Oops. So basically everything is the same for the first couple sections. So the gold cost divided by 2 plus the gold cost times ref bonus and level divided by the bonus. So it is definitely less. So yeah, I think we'll want to modify the gold cost doing this as well. So let's go back down to synthesize, add that in. Of course, there's going to be base wep. I'll have to make some changes. You may also want to add in some stuff from the from the donor weapon. Base weapon, ref bonus, base weapon, and base weapon. Now, crap. This humidity lately has been killing my sinuses. And also killing the temperature in this room. Jesus Christ. Feels like it's 80, feels like it's 90 degrees in here. Let's put this down to 6. Alright. Guess it doesn't help that I have 3 computer. Well, this one down here doesn't really do much at all. It's just it's that one I tried to do Windows XP on. The really old computer doesn't really do much air venting, but I do have the 2012 system up and running now that has the GRO server on it. So it does put out some heat. So now for the naming, need to go way back up here. It's like a window base, get name or something. Draw item name. So if it's a game instance weapon item, all we have to do is just add some code here. I'll say, so we'll say var name equals item underscore name. Item dot underscore name. If item dot underscore ref level then item name plus equals, so put a space, put a plus, and then plus item dot underscore ref level. And then we'll just do name instead of item name here. Alright, so now if we do this, we check both of these now. We should see that we get the item refine level showing. Okay, let's go out and then equip. Yep, +1. And let's also level up the sword. Oh, the other one, the one that, well, they both don't have experience. Really? That was interesting. Alright, this goes up to 16, up to 20, so we got a few more levels to add. Oh wow, okay, so that's not right. The experience is getting changed for everything instead of just one weapon. So there's a bug we need to sort out before we go releasing this. So that's on game weapon item. Well, that should only apply to that single one though. Let's actually see how we're modifying it. So change EXP. Or no, maybe that's happening on, oh here it is, yeah, it is here. So function EXP, this dot underscore EXP plus EXP, da 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 da. So I mean, we're not setting that to anything, it's just 0. So why is it zeroing out for everything? And it should only apply to that specific weapon because we're not... we're not really doing anything with it. Okay, let's put a breakpoint on that. So what line is that on? 1141.0. 11d410. On, that's an object. Alright, 11d410. 11d410. Right, so actually their weapons are also getting experience as well. So is that giving 3 million? No, it's only giving 1 million. So no, yeah, this is definitely not working the way it should. Crap. Damn. So we have how many? Let's see, game party. So we got two in the arrays here. That's fine. So now I'm interested. Let's go over here real quick. So we know it has 3 million. $750,000. What the frack? That ain't right. That is not right at all. I'm pretty damn sure that isn't right. So troops, slime. All right, yeah. So that's based on the slime. So the slime is only like 200 or something. I think. 200. So we're getting like 70, whatever it was. Over here, 750,000. So the thing is definitely wrong here. So let's go through the call stack here. So change EXP. So that's already wrong. So gain EXP. So we get 200. Current XP plus math. So what the hell is this? This seems to be just like making that increase massively. One. So what the hell? Oh, okay. But this is game actor. Why is game actor getting 3 million experience? So new EX crap. So new XP is the combination of the current XP and the new EXP. Then we pass it to change experience. So in change experience, I still have no clue why we're getting because when we do the change experience, we're adding 3 million to the characters. That's why. But so when we're going through here to change EXP, we're passing through actually a we have an aliased. Okay, so we're just setting it. We're not adding it. That's why I think. But on ours, we're adding it. So what we need to do is on our version of change EXP, or at least the alias section of it, we need to subtract, after we do this part, we need to subtract okay, first of all, we don't want to do this part anymore because we're not going to give experience to game party weapons. So this is on line 256. Oh, we're in the wrong file. Whoops. I was like, wow, this is a lot longer than I remember. 256. So, the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of this. Well, we'll keep some of it because we need some of it. Next, we need to get a var new EXP. Which is going to equal which will equal this dot underscore this dot class ID. This EXP, yeah, this underscore EXP, this underscore class ID. Minus, or rather EXP minus that. Or no, yeah, minus EXP because the past experience will be, well, no, that won't work either because they'll be one and the same at this point. So, it would work, but at the same time wouldn't work because if we then added some code to make the gained EXP a percentage of the full EXP gained for weapons. So in other words, you get a percentage of the full experience for your weapons that you get on your character when you win. That would blow this up. So I think we might need to override gain experience. Yeah. That's in Battle Manager. I'll put it up here near Data Manager. Alright, so, overridden battle manager functions. Alright. Starting with EXP, these rewards, actor. Or no, we don't. Actually, I didn't read that correctly. We just need to change how we do change experience. So, EXP, well, let's see. No, look, okay, no, yeah. So, change EXP function, EXP show. New EXP. Oh, it's a game actor. I was looking at the wrong one. We do need this, but it's game actor, gain EXP. Not the battle manager EXP. So I'll just put this above change EXP then. We'll just add a third parameter to pass through EXP. And it doesn't matter if we add a third parameter into here, it just won't do anything with it on the change EXP. At least I don't think it will. So we'll call it something else down here instead of just EXP, so we don't have an issue with it. We'll call it gained EXP or something. So weapon, new XP. Well, we can just use gained EXP. So weapon is null. Var inst weapon equals this dot underscore equips 0. So first we're going to say if inst weapon is not null, then we're just going to call this down here. And instead of calling this, we can just put it directly in here now because we don't need to modify that. I don't think. Alright. F5. So, new game. Let's grab our weapon here. Let's go and equip it. Go do a battle. Fight, attack, slime, guard. Okay, so this game, we don't need that one. So, really quick, let's look up. Actually, I just don't need to do that. We can just equip the sword and look at the ton of darkness over here. Okay, 200, good. Yeah, okay, that works perfectly. No, it doesn't do everything. Perfect. So it was just an issue with. So let's actually go to this real quick. So that gets added there, but it doesn't add here because we don't actually give it to. Well, that's interesting. So it didn't get added to this one though. We added to both of those. Huh. That is odd. So now if we go look at the... So this should have it on it. I'm just wondering if somehow we're still not changing things globally for game instance weapons that are from the same base weapon. So there's that. That didn't change. Because if we change the sword here... So this should only apply if we look at what we're using here on this. We're calling the change experience function. Change entire party experience by 1 million. Add 1 million gold. Nowhere in that does it change the party weapons. That doesn't call anything now that changes party weapons. However, the sword that's in the game party is getting updated. So if we look here, it's now 4,000 or 4 million instead of being just what it should be. I think that's because we're still modifying something still being modified that's carrying over through the same game instance weapons that are created out of the same base weapon. So all the game instance weapons that are based on the sword base weapon are being updated because they're all still connected somehow. So how do we deal with that? Somehow the instances are still connected together even though they shouldn't be. Are we even calling and are we using anything still from that that's not just a value? That would be connecting these together. Like, are we pulling anything directly over? So I guess we do. Well, these are just values, but So what we had to do with traits and parameters was to so I think we have to just create a whole, I think everything has to have its own variable. So instead of doing something like this, we have to create a variable that stores this value and then put it into here. Because when we were just taking these, like when we were just taking the the traits and putting it onto the traits, so if traits equals this underscore traits, whenever this version, this underscore traits would change, all the weapon traits would change. So I think that's still an issue with that. So okay. Var new, let's see, var w name. I think that's all we need. Okay. So, let's see if this still modifies them or not. Some of them are still being connected together. The question is, what is it and how do we get rid of it? How do we break that connection? So we should have a sword. Well, we need to talk here first. And then we should have a sword in darkness. We level this up. None of them should have anything. There we go. None of these have anything, finally. Now, let's actually go and equip Ton of Darkness real quick. I take it back, they do have it now, don't they? So when we are... So this one sword didn't have anything until after we moved it back down in here. So when until we unequipped it, they were different. Once we unequipped it, then it became the same. So... Okay, that's interesting now. So now this sword is back to being nothing. But now this one is 2 million? $1 million. Equip. Equip. $2 million. So that's interesting. Did we do it twice? Maybe we did do it twice. No, we did it once. But then it got 2 million. Alright, let's restart again. This is interesting. It's got to be something with the equip unequip functionality though. It's definitely in there somewhere. Because once we move the weapon sword from the equipped to the game party weapons, the other game party weapon changes. Alright, so it's gonna go down many things, so check. So 0, 0. Let's come over here and do this. Come back over here. 0, 0, which is fine. Go to because no, I fixed that, so it shouldn't be an issue now. So don't think. Go to equip Herald with the katana, and then unequip it. Okay, so it doesn't get it from there. It's just equipping it and unequipping it isn't changing the katana's experience, which is good. That would have been a genuine WTF moment like I've never seen before with this plugin. Kind of getting that with this sword though, but that's fine. So we go over here to this. Okay. So why are we getting 2 million? So if we go back to change actor experience. Because we're using EXP, not gained EXP. Okay, gained EXP doesn't have a value when we're coming from... Okay, so we need to add gained EXP as a parameter here as well. On gained EXP, isn't there also a flag for show level up. Where's that flag at? So value params 123. Find this, return true. Just wondering where the where that comes in at, because it doesn't seem to have a there doesn't seem to be a parameter for it on that function. Just wondering if there's a third function that gets called when you check this. Let's go ahead and close this. Save it. Restart. Maybe. Possibly. There we go. So I'm going to see where that goes. Where that comes from. Okay. Actor change EXP. Anonymous. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, there it is. It is. It's 315 and 316. So if we had that in there, then we're using 315. If not, we're using 316. Alright, so we need to modify both of those. Starting at line 10254 on the objects. Ten 254. So we'll need to override these. So these are going to be game interpreter functions. So we'll just follow the same naming convention we've been using for these sections. Aliased or aliased, overridden, or new, and new. Game interpreter functions. Alright, so, yada yada yada. Then we're going to pass through, it's current AXP plus value. So, value. And then on here, we're going to pass through false. And then, oh no, it's called both times. Okay, never mind. Well, that's interesting then. Oh, that's a change level. Oh, okay, never mind. It always calls 315. I just didn't notice that it had the params 5 in there. I thought that was part of this still. Derp. Alright, so that should do that. So both of them now should just pass through the regular proper value for that. And then up here, we can actually use the gain DXP instead of what we were using. Which was still the wrong value. Alright. So that's part one of this issue of why we're still getting the wrong EXP values. The next problem is, why is the unequipped script screwing around with the instances of things? So, So that is force change equipment. Or party, trade item with party maybe. So that's called from somewhere. Change equipment, I think. and release equipable items, but not force unequip. Well, like, it calls release unequipable items, and the force one does. So, actually, probably change equip. Okay, so new item, old item. Game party gain item, game party lose item. So item is, so we're passing through for items. So this constructor, not game instance weapon, then we just call trade with party the item that's passed. This equips slot ID and not item if item is null or slot ID equals E type. Equips set object item. So we're calling this equips slot ID, and then setting that object to the item, and then giving it and refreshing it. Else we are, if it's game party item, checking to make sure that game party item and the game party trade item with party is returning a true, and that item is either false or item is null, or this that equips slot ID equals the same item type. Then we are equipping item to that slot. Now on the unequip, which is party gain item, I think. Wait, what was that? Oh, item book. Okay. So, item amount and then include equip. So, if container. So, if it's not. So, if it's not a game instance weapon item, we don't care. Else. If the amount is greater than 0, then in other words, if we're adding an item, not removing an item, then we do just weapons._push item. Else we do remove the item that we're trying to deal with using the remove party weapon. So why is this causing an issue? 520. I'm wondering if the IDs are the same and not different for some reason. Shouldn't be, but it's possible. So 510. No. 520. So let's go to new. Go to here. Go to there. Good, just 1 million this time. So that's well, let me see. Yeah, fixed. Alright. now level 87. So let's go to equip. Okay. So, let's have a look here at what we have. So, item. So, item ID is what? 0. And that's why. Because we go to game party weapons, the first one is going to have ID 0. Boom. So, because they have the same ID, they're getting the same thing as applied to them when we open the thing. I'm not sure why though. I mean, well, it's the same ID, but somehow it's, I guess, pulling this. I don't know. It's pulling some. I guess it's pulling the last one in the list from because we're using get party weapon or something. So when we add it to the end, what we need to do is, instead of just doing this on its own, we need to say, what's the length of the list first. So this dot underscore item dot underscore ID equals this dot underscore weapons dot length. So these IDs will just continually change depending on what's going on. So when we're adding items, it'll change. When we remove items, it'll change. Well, not really change per se, but they'll be updated as we add them and remove them. Huh. True. So how about we do this instead? Let's do this, and then we'll call this dot underscore, or this dot updates weapon IDs. So this will be a function that we'll call whenever we're updating the list, pushing something new to it from there. Otherwise it won't matter because we'll be doing them sequentially on load or something like that. But when we're adding them through the through this, we're going to call game party dot prototype dot update weapon IDs. This function. Basically, all we're going to do is we're going to loop through. So for var I1 equals 0. Then we're just going to say this underscore weapons I1 dot underscore ID equals I1. So it's going to basically re-index the IDs when we add something new. So let's go ahead and refresh. Not property length of undefined. Oh, typo. weapons again. It's either got to be Pokemon related or it has to be Curse of Miliardo Peacecraft. Let's jump from one extreme of the anime spectrum to the other. An explanation for what a weapon is. So, go to the new game. Alright, so this time we'll just grab these first. Then we'll grab these. Grab this, I should say, experience. Then go to equip, sword, darkness. Then, if we look at this, ID 0. ID 1 and ID 2. Alright, that seems to be doing that. Now let's go back to here. Just because I want to be absolutely sure. Let's go to... Actually, yes, let's do that. Good. Seems to be completely just conjoined now. Let's go to equip Herald, equip Katana. Yeah, it seems they're all completely disjointed now. Good. Or unentangled from each other. Okay, now, let's go ahead and try the saving functionality. Yay, it didn't work. Okay, so it's got to be that we aliased something. So we tried to alias the save contents. Or no, the save game, I think. So... perhaps the save file ID is coming through incorrectly again. So let's go put a breakpoint on that. So that's on line 337 of managers. Okay. 337. Put a breakpoint there and try, and we'll see what the save ID is coming through as. No, save ID file is 9, that's fine. Continue. But then this up here is not showing anything. Oh, right. That's this issue. So it's saving, but we have to return to the save context here. So I think when we do this, return Yeah, there we go. Now let's go ahead and try loading it. Might have to do the same thing on load. Oh, load looks good. Let's go ahead and unequip the sword. Should have 1,000,000. Good. Perfect. So, I think that's pretty much everything now that we've got fixed again. And so that's interesting. We found that bug. Good. That's a pretty frigging nasty bug that took us a while to fix. Alright, so now I think we've got everything aliased. We got everything sorted out with any bugs we created from that. We got any major bugs we just found fixed. And now let's move on to dealing with this stuff. So, I'm just going to pull over, I'm going to open up the Banks plugin JS real quick. So we gotta copy what we did here. So plugin description. So let's say enables advanced game features on weapons such as weapon leveling, level bonuses, refining durability system, and synthesizing. So, params we want to have. So, those are going to be strings, so that's fine. So, leave a few spaces. So, at param, yeah. Param name is going to be so do we want to split these, or do we want to have them be the same? So in other words, do we want to have the golden EXP requirements be the same parameter, or have them be different parameters? I'm thinking the same parameter, because there are requirements, and if they're not met, they should be the same color. So we'll say requirements color sets the color for used when a cost requirement is not met. So the default is going to be that red color. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So, param increase color. So sets the color used when parameters or traits parameters are added or are increased. Traits are added or trait values are increased. That's going to be the F color. If I can find it somewhere in here. My best bet is down in here somewhere. All right. So next up will be param decrease color. So at the moment, no traits or trait values are decreased or removed. Though that might be something we'll do in the future. Like for example, maybe there'll be something where you can reset a weapon to gain like a huge increase in, maybe you can reset a weapon to get a large amount of gold back, or you can reset a weapon to gain a large increase in stats for the weapon, base stats for the weapon. Kind of like a restart on the clicker or something like that. But for now, we'll just it only will affect parameter decreases. Well, it'll show up when we're decreasing something. So like for example, resetting the experience is when it'll show up. So I think that's the only one that actually shows a red thing on it, is the experience. So at default, that's going to be the red color. So at param, so this is going to be refined system. So I want to make this an on or off. I would just say boolean with default true. We don't specify, because it'll say on or off by default on that. At description. Find system allows a weapon further improved after has reached its maximum level. So at type boolean, I think it's just type, and then defaults on or false. I think we'll say true. At param synthesis system. drastically. So at type is boolean. I believe the default type is a string. So if you don't specify a type, it becomes a string. So at param repair and durability system. So these are going to default to true. Alright, so we're making pretty good time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short break here. Go do a few other things, check some other stuff, and then I'll come back at around maybe 8:10 or so, and we will finish adding in these things, and then end the stream for today, and I'll work on seeing if I can't get this initial plugin version released by the time before I have to go to work this morning. So I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll continue from there.